When Japan collapsed in 1950, the Soviets accepted the Japanese surrender north of the 38th parallel, while America accepted it south of the border. Both Soviets and Americans wanted to reunify Korea. However, each superpower wanted Korea to follow their ideologies. So instead, Korea remained divided, with the Soviets protecting the North and the Americans protecting the South. Soon after, both superpowers withdrew their forces. This indirectly led to the start of the Korean War.
When America and the Soviet Union withdrew their forces, it created an opening for even more conflict. Both North and South Korea were unstable at the moment, so when the superpowers withdrew, both countries were on the brink of war. They were very hostile toward each other.
It began on June 25, 1950. Spearheaded by Soviet tanks, North Korea flooded across the 38th parallel. South Korea, surprised and unprepared, were forced back towards Busan with the sea at their backs.
For Soviet Russia! Death to America!
This event brought America's guard back up. It was something America didn't realize was going to happen. When it did, it was devastating. What it did was cause Truman's National Security Council to issue the National Security Council Memorandum number 68, which recommended the U.S. to quadruple its defense spending. Soon, the United States had built up an army that was far beyond what was needed for Korea.
Swine, you are worthless. Come on, I want to see those push-ups all the way down. Come on, bring it up.
This was a key event in Cold War history because, for one, it marked a major step in the militarization of American foreign policy. It also showed the world that America could do nearly anything it wanted to during this period in time.
On June 25, 1950, the UN Security Council voted on whether North Korea was an aggressor or not. Truman took advantage of the Soviet absence from the vote, and North Korea was voted unanimously an aggressor.
2 days later, Truman ordered American air and naval units to support South Korea without Congress's permission. He also ordered MacArthur and his soldiers to aid the South Koreans. With the support of the UN, America was ready to, in the overall picture, stop communism.
In 1950, MacArthur made a bold military move. Rather than try to fight his way out from where the South Koreans were holed up, he decided to attack from the sea behind enemy lines. The move was daring but successful. Soon, the North Koreans were back above the 38th parallel. That should mark the end of the war, right? Wrong. While driving the North Koreans back, South Koreans crossed the 38th parallel into North Korean territory.
The UN General Assembly gave leave to MacArthur to cross the 38th parallel. This was to make sure that there would be no intervention by the Soviets, the main threat, or the Chinese, which also posed a very serious threat. In Korea, America raised the stakes of their overall success, and that was to stop the spreading of communism. When they had tried to avoid what they had tried to avoid was coming around the corner, the Chinese were starting to intervene.
Quang Qui Chupshi Nai Hoya in Noriga in Noriku. Gonkoi Sinariga Tempo Hega Bonsai E Nutbunze Queen Benzi. Stupid Americans.
My fellow Americans, China will most likely not attack. If we don't defeat North Korea now, they may regroup and attack and possibly win. If we don't do this, the Chinese will attack us because we will seem hesitant and weak.
However, this is what was happening at the time.
Operation Attack UN will commence in approximately 20 minutes. We will get the capitalist dogs while they sleep around the Yaru River. They will not know what hit them because we are so sneaky.
MacArthur, being an arrogant person, overestimated the UN's power and underestimated China's. He casually off-told the Chinese and said his troops would be gone later. However, in 1950, tens of thousands of Chinese people raided the UN forces, who were forced to go back to the south. It was now a stalemate battle at the 38th parallel.
Where are they?
Where'd they go?
MacArthur felt humiliated by this event. He called for the blockade and bombardment of China. He even suggested the use of military weapons on China. However, with the US worry of the Soviet Union, they decided China was not a threat. Not only that, Washington refused to enlarge this already costly conflict. Not only that, but America did not want to be weakened by China while also fighting the Soviets.
In 1951, a truce was being constructed not far from the battlefield. However, the battle carried on, and for 2 more years, men continued to die. Today, the war is over. North and South Korea remain divided, and with their ideologies the same. North Korea remains a communist country,